Hello there, Duda. How have you been? So I've been trying to avoid making this video for a few days now. It's been like a few days since I've actually made anything, because I was hoping that maybe this would calm down a little bit. But I don't think this is going to go away because this time it seems pretty obvious that a grand majority of DML players are, they're not even disappointed. They're really actually pretty angry about the current ancient water event that's going on in DML. I mean, a few of you may already know that I have disliked every single Dragon Dice event since they first came out. Reason being, not necessarily that it was complete garbage to begin with, but it was just RNG on top of RNG on top of dice roll RNG, and I could see it from the first event. All it was going to take was for them to make the event very slightly more difficult, and then we were just going to have awful, awful iterations of the event. And that is what's happened this time around. So, for instance, all of the different social media platforms for DML have been complaining about this since the event came out, really. And there was this forum poll done that said, how do you feel about the balance changes to the Ancient Water event? And in this, there's quite a lot of options that people can go with. There's, it's great, I love it, it's good, it's okay, I'm neutral, I'm unhappy, and it's not okay. These changes are bad and make me stop playing parts of the event altogether. And then there is an option of, I feel the event is now broken and has turned into a hot dumpster fire of disappointment, which is probably a shared sentiment between many people at the moment. And then other. And you can see from this poll here, I have not voted in this by the way, but people have overwhelmingly voted for I feel the event is now broken and is a literal hot dumpster fire of disappointment. But on top of that, the ones that are actually positive, I guess you can count okay as positive, that is 3 votes out of, what is that, like 70 votes? Oh, 81 votes out of that. So there's about 3 positive votes on the forums out of 81 votes that are positive, or somewhat positive. No one said it's great, I love it, because the event has just been nerfed. That is it, as in it's been made more difficult, it's been made more tedious, and now even if you're logging in for every single reset of the event, you're probably still not going to get anything out of it. That is the worst thing. Even if you are logging in for every single reset, fully clearing everything, if you're not lucky, you're not going to get the dragons, which means that this event is essentially pay to win to get anything of value. And, you know, we've seen it before, where there's been a major discrepancy between the forums and Facebook and YouTube. People have been pretty negative on YouTube. People are obviously very negative on the forums from this, and on Facebook, you can see, if you just look through their recent video on tips on how to finish the daily bingo cards, probably 95% of the comments are like, great, thanks for the tips. But that's not the issue, it's the fact that you don't give us enough waterstones to actually complete things. Oh yes, it could have been a great tutorial if the amount of free waterstones was enough to complete the daily cards. You increase the value to roll and re-roll the dice, you decrease the payout per column or row or rows, but the waterstones we get are the same 200 per task, and we do know how to play. I think that is the big thing here. At this point, we've had 2 ancient events before this one, so we get the idea of how it works now. A lot more than we did in the original event. We know sort of some of the strats to land on tiles, you know, going for 6s and landing on double purples can help out a lot for going for purple tiles. But the bingo in particular this time around, people are finding out is near impossible, because if you don't actually buy the waterstone shrine, you can't actually complete the bingo every day unless you just get insanely lucky, because the amount that you actually have to spend on re-rolling for the numbers that you need to hit the green tiles is a hell of a lot more expensive than just playing the event and just going around the map. So the amount you actually get back and the rewards that you get aren't even worth it. In this guide video, obviously, I don't mind the concept. I also did an initial event guide, how it's like, these are some tips on how to get better value out of the event. But the problem here is that it sort of makes the players feel like they're being treated like idiots, because it's like, you can finish the daily bingo if you follow these elite gamer strats. Except if you follow these strats, it's impossible to complete the collection event for Hornbill, and most of the time, it's actually going to cost you a hell of a lot of waterstones to actually be able to complete these bingo cards every day. I think the average amount of stones that people were calculating that it costs is around about 10,000 or 9,000. Between 9 and 10,000 is what it costs to complete one of these bingos. And obviously you can't collect that amount of event currency every reset. So there is a guide here that is telling us to be able to complete the bingo every day, follow these strats that mean that you can't get other dragons from the ancient event, but you actually can't complete it daily anyway. And plus, if you're sitting there re-rolling for numbers to hit the green tiles and the purple tiles, you're not going to get as many double troubles, because when you re-roll the dice, if you're re-rolling in the subsequent re-rolls where you have to either use the free re-rolls, you don't get any points towards the double trouble meter. So by following the strats to finish the bingo, you're probably not going to finish double trouble. So they're telling us to complete the bingo. You either complete the bingo every day at the expense of not getting Deep Light, not getting Hornbill, not getting Pipe, not getting a bunch of other dragons. It is kind of weird that it's like a fundamental part of how this event works. They're telling you to do this, but then ignore everything else. It makes absolutely no sense to me, and people have been saying, yeah, well, it's just the first week of the event, we'll get more waterstones. Okay, maybe that's true, which I don't think it is, by the way. We'll have to wait and see, but there is a collection event right now for Hornbill that only lasts until, what is it, tomorrow? Which means that the event is going to be over tomorrow. That's the reason people were bringing up these issues. And, I mean, this video has been out for a couple of days now, but we're not getting any responses from Gameloft. I get that Adam is probably, it's the weekend at the moment, which normally means that they're not as active. But you can look through the post yourself, the Facebook. But everyone's just saying, this bingo event is extremely hard. There's not enough waterstones. We know how to do it. Due to the changes, it is too difficult and very frustrating. I think that is the general consensus. You see, I never liked these events to begin with. Ever. I never liked them. Because I knew all it was going to take was just them making it a tiny bit more difficult. And that was going to mean that the event was impossible, because I could see how close they were cutting it to begin with. And I've had people literally say to me, yeah, well, they gave out the ancients way too easily last time. And it's like, am I on a different planet? Because the last two ancient events, the last one I didn't play at all because I stopped playing DML, but the original event, I was missing a reset once every couple of days, and I got really bad luck on that event, which meant I got nothing. So I gave up on the ancient towards the end. It was just, unless you get extremely lucky, most of the time, if you're missing resets, you just can't get anything anyway. And then they made it even more difficult. It's like, am I living on a different planet? I play on PC. I can't take my PC with me everywhere for the 8 hours to 9 hours a day that I'm outside. What, am I just gonna run all the way back home just to log in for a DML reset? It was insane. And then people are saying, yeah, well, if you don't hit every reset, you shouldn't expect to get any ancients. Even though you spent literally an entire month clearing out every other reset, you get pretty much nothing except for an epic and a rare. How is that not putting in any effort to getting the ancients? It's mind-boggling. How can you defend a company that is literally teetering their events on the border of what is possible and literally impossible every event? But then they make it actually impossible, and that's when people complain. Surely we should have been complaining about this 2 events ago? I mean, I was, but it's like I saw this coming. So many people saw this coming, and only now do people agree that it's an issue. But I don't see anyone actually enjoying this event, which means they probably weren't really enjoying it to begin with. It's just now it's literally impossible, and now they realise they don't get any rewards. So the event isn't actually fun to play. the rewards are just enjoyable to have. You're not actually enjoying playing the event, you're enjoying getting the rewards. When they take the rewards away, people aren't enjoying the event. Yeah, that means you're probably not enjoying playing the event. I don't know, dude. It's weird. It's like people that were so adamantly defending some of these decisions, like last ancient event, when it was so obvious that they were going to keep making it more difficult, and they did. I've seen lots of people saying boycott Gameloft, don't spend any money. I mean, at this point, we know how unlikely it is that free-to-play players are going to get anything. Even paying players are unlikely to get anything. Some people in these threads have literally spent like $100 already, and they've got nothing. Because that's how these events work. Some people will get an ancient in one chest when they're a brand new player, pretty much. Other people that have been playing for 5 years might spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars and get diddly squat. Because that's how RNG works. It doesn't matter how much you put in, unless you open up the X amount of chests for Momotu, for example, you're not going to get it. And like they've also nerfed that in the fact that you have to open up more chests now. The amount of pieces that we get back and the amount of free chests that we get from tickets has been reduced. There are so many nerfs in this event. It's ridiculous. It's like every single thing they possibly could have nerfed without it just becoming complete, utter flaming garbage, they did it. I don't know why anyone could possibly, or why they would want to defend this. We already have a bunch of other stuff in DML that's basically pay to win. The dungeon chests, where they changed it so that you only had to open up 5 chests to get the dragon. Guess what? It's back up to 15 again. Remember, like, earlier this week where people were like, oh, it's great, we only have to open up 5 of the dungeon chests now to get the dungeon weekly reward dragon. That's great! Yeah, well, it's already gone back up to 15. So, you think that they're doing anything for the sake of the players? Seriously? I just can't believe it. And the fact that Gameloft have been losing out on the amount of profit that they're making quarter on quarter on quarter, if people start boycotting even more now, they're going to be earning less and less and less. And genuinely, it seems like Gameloft is headed really into a bad place. I genuinely feel that if people actually do start just not spending anything after this event, which so many of like adamant supporters of the game have said, that's it after this event, no more until they fix the issue. So if they don't fix it, that's a lot of money that they're going to lose out on. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I want DML to die, I don't. I want DML to fix its problems. But it was obvious with this event from day one, from the calculations that we were seeing, that this event wasn't possible. We've played through pretty much an entire week of the event now, and it is even more obvious how bad it is. People are doing the daily calculations for the bingo card. It's not good. So, if you're looking to get anything of value out of this event, I would say don't lose sleep over it. Play the event in a way that's enjoyable for you, where you don't have to make sacrifices in your day-to-day life. As in, if you're gonna get that crazy RNG drop, it'll happen. If it doesn't happen, don't worry about it too much. At the end of the day, we've already had 2 ancient events with ancient dragons, which are basically just as good as these ones anyway, so even if you miss these, it's really not that big of a deal. You're not gonna get flamed for not spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on literally pixels. Please, don't think that you will. You don't need to spend money on events that are pure garbage and regarded by a grand majority of the player base as literally flaming hot dumpster fires of garbage. Again, there's people on these forums that I have adamantly disagreed with before that used to defend every action of Gameloft. Like, it didn't matter how many times I would say it, and other people would say, this is pure RNG bait. They would say, they have to make money, you know, they're fair, it's a free-to-play game. Even those players have lost it with this event. That is how bad it is. So, don't feel too bad if you don't get anything out of this event. Genuinely, just try and enjoy it as best as you can. That's why I've tried not to delve into it too much. It just feels like every time I talk about DML these days, it's just negative. And I hate that. I want the game to actually go in a direction that's positive so that I want to spend money again. I didn't buy the Dragon Master Pass, I didn't buy the Totem, I didn't buy the Totem in the last Ancient event, and I will continue to not do it until they actually fix how manipulative and greedy they are being with these events. It's as simple as that. If they take away 90% of the RNG, I would probably spend like $20 a month, genuinely. Because I want to spend on the game, because they've given back to me, and obviously I personally make money off of the videos as well. But I'm not even willing to do it because the game is so broken. So please, if someone at Gameloft can please just look at the amount of dislike towards this event iteration and not think, well, maybe we need to put in more microtransactions. Have you tried toning them down a little bit, considering ever since we started throwing tons of them in since about 27, we have never ever earned as much in DML since that point, ever again. Probably to do with the amount of stupid microtransactions you're throwing in. Anyway, maybe I'll make a follow-up to this with more, like, hard stats if it's required, but please, listen to your players, Gameloft. It's bad. It is bad.